Hey, welcome in, Monday edition Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. We will get started here momentarily. We're in commercial on the radio. Glad to have you with us on my social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we're going to try to get the show posted to Rumble today. So looking forward to that. It will not be live on Rumble, but it will be on Rumble. It's live otherwise. And you can catch the second hour of the show on the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or on the 989 The Answer Facebook page. And with that, here we go. Well, it is a normal Monday. No eclipse, no traffic jams. Normal in the sense that the Biden administration is lying through its teeth, and normal in the sense that Donald Trump is being persecuted for being Donald Trump. That is where we start the show today, with Donald Trump in New York City in the convoluted case against him that dates back to the 2016 presidential election and the hush money that he paid to porn actress, I use the term loosely, not porn, but actress, Stormy Daniels. The case was turned down by many New York prosecutors, including the one who's prosecuting it today, Alvin Bragg, but was resuscitated because there is an urgency to get Trump, because the alternative is Donald Trump could be elected president and Joe Biden would be out of office. And that, of course, is not at all palatable to the left. So Trump is in court today, and he is required to be in court today. New York has a law that if you're on trial, you have to be in court. So whether he's found guilty or not, and he will be found guilty because it's New York, and they hate Donald Trump in New York, even though he built about half the New York skyline, Donald Trump will be off the campaign trail. He will not be able to be out on the campaign trail campaigning for president. And I actually see a possibility that that could be a good thing, because if Trump is not on the campaign trail, he cannot be Trump, and he cannot say things that the media will magnify into something that it is not, like bloodbath or anything like that. And maybe what worked for Joe Biden in 2020, hiding in his basement, not saying anything, will end up working for Donald Trump. Because the more we see of Joe Biden and the more we see of Joe Biden's policies, the more Americans don't like it. And we saw over the weekend with the Iranian attacks on Israel and Joe Biden's by the way, where was he? Is he playing Mike DeWine over the weekend? Are Joe Biden and Mike DeWine the same guy? Like, do they have the same bunker where they hide? The Ohio governor and the president of the United States, where they go and just kick back and eat Fran's cookies and I don't know what else. But Israel was attacked by 100 and some suicide drones from Iran, 185 suicide drones from Iran, 110 surface-to-air missiles, and 36 cruise missiles. Now, this would seem to me to be a big deal. It is a big deal. I'm being facetious. It is a huge deal. It is the most lethal attack on Israel since, 1952, 1948, at least. A 6-day war. I would think that would compel the United States president to come out and speak about our support for Israel or whatever. But instead, the White House released a photograph of Joe Biden meeting with his cabinet on Saturday night. Except that the photograph was an old photograph that had been released before in another situation where Biden was too preoccupied watching Mannix or eating tapioca pudding or whatever he does after 6 o'clock at night to come out and speak to the American people. He's incapable, which is why I laugh when I see that the major media organizations are pushing the Trump camp and the Biden camp to have a debate in the fall. I'd love to see it. I can't imagine who they'd get to moderate it. That's a good call topic for a day. Who would you pick to moderate the debate? Because the Democrats are never going to stand for Bret Baier. They're never going to stand for anybody from Fox News. The Republicans should not stand for anybody from NBC News in light of what they did to Ronna McDaniel. I can't imagine there's anybody from ABC. George Stephanopoulos used to work for Bill Clinton, smear campaign against people Bill Clinton sexually harassed. That's a no. Anybody left from CBS? Let's see. They ran off Catherine Herridge for her objective reporting on the Biden. That's a no from CBS. Nobody from CNN. You know who would be great to debate that, to run the debate? Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan would be great because, I mean, that would be entertaining, right? Problem is, Joe Rogan podcasts go 3 hours and Joe Biden would be asleep in, 40 minutes? So I don't know who they'd get to moderate that debate. But, yeah, Biden couldn't come out, couldn't talk, couldn't address the situation. And we'll play an array of audio today from his bootlicks, none of which is worse than John Kirby. I have been, and I should be, and will continue to be, harsh on Karine Jean identity hire, the president's spokesperson. But she's a bubblehead. We know that. She's misspoken a million times to betray the fact that she's worthy of the job she has. She's clearly a DEI hire. She's got the intersectionality boxes checked. Gay, check. Black, check. Okay, you're hired. She's historically historic. She told us that on the first day she was on the job. But she's not the worst. John Kirby's the worst. The reason John Kirby is the worst is because Karine Jean-Pierre is a zealot. She's a true believer. She's deceived, but she's a true believer. You cannot expect down-the-middle truth, down-the-middle analysis, down-the-middle fairness from someone like Karine Jean identity hire. From John Kirby, a guy who served in the U.S. military, a guy who comes to the Pentagon, and a guy who's at the White House only for cleanup on aisle 6 because Karine Jean-Pierre can't flip the pages of the binder that she's given to follow the script she's given every single day. She can't flip the pages fast enough, so Kirby's got to stand up there and answer questions extemporaneously. Kirby is worse because Kirby knows better, and Kirby lies through his teeth, and he's getting worse with every passing day. And he's, of course, carrying water for the Biden administration on this thing with Israel. I took down a quote today. I thought I had the audio, but I don't. But today, John Kirby, again, Biden didn't come out. He didn't come out and talk to America. Kirby said today, "This is a president that understands leadership on the world stage." Really? Well, I mean, it's possible. It is possible he might understand leadership on the world stage. He just can't exhibit any leadership on the world stage. That would be the issue right there, that he can't exhibit any leadership on the world stage. So we are left with Israel to be cast aside to twist in the wind. Joe Biden says they should take the win. I don't know about you, but being a target in a shooting gallery from Iran and having the technology with the Iron Dome, which, 8 Democrats, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, all voted against funding for the Iron Dome. Being a shooting gallery target for Iran and not getting anyone besides a 7-year-old girl who's still clinging to life from shrapnel that fell and hit where she was in these Iranian missile attacks, I don't consider not being killed a win. I don't consider being the bullseye on an Iranian target of a missile and not getting hit. I don't consider that a win, but Joe Biden considers that a win. Of course, then again, as has been famously said of Joe Biden, he's been wrong on every single foreign policy matter for the last 50 years, so maybe that's why he considers it a win. But here's his chief bootlick, John Kirby, on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker. Listen to this knucklehead. That's the question. Has this escalated into a wider war? Israel hit the Iranian embassy in Damascus and wiped out the guy who planned the October 7th attacks. Seems like a fair penalty for him to suffer for planning an attack that killed, with IDF soldiers, with hostages, with the 1,200 massacred on October the 7th. We're up to about 1,500 people now. Seems like a fair price for him to pay with his life. But now Iran is lobbing missiles and suicide drones and all that. So this is the question to John Kirby from Kristen Welker. Has this escalated into a wider war? And here's his answer. I don't think there's any reason that it needs to. Is that answering the question? No, it's not answering the question. But he goes on to not answer the question. She asked it twice. Will he answer it? Who cares? Who cares what he thinks? Who cares what he feels? Here, we'll try it again. Softball from George Stephanopoulos on ABC News to John Kirby. No, we're not going to think about the hardware. We're going to think about why you won't answer the question. Joe Biden said, don't, to Iran when he knew they were going to retaliate. This is the other thing. He left on vacation over the weekend when the intelligence now shows that he knew Iran was going to respond. He left anyway, had to come back, couldn't take a picture because he had to use an old picture. I'm too tired to take a picture, guys. I got to go to bed. I got to have some tapioca. Besides, Canon is on, or Beretta is on. There's a big Hazel marathon on MeTV. I can't come down and do any work.
Mostly sunny, warm afternoon. The high today 77. Partly cloudy for tonight, low 49. Clouds with a couple of showers. Thunderstorm late in the day tomorrow. The high 76. All
right, back in commercial. Hey, man, I had an awesome meal on Saturday when the weather was nice. You know where I got it? Of course, Riverbend Ranch Steaks. You, too, can have phenomenal steak from Riverbend Ranch Steaks. All you have to do is go to riverbendranchsteaks.com. There, I'll put it on the screen. riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. That'll take you to my page. You can pick out your bundle, pick out a set of ribeyes, New York strip, filet mignon, augment it with a little ground beef, augment it with steak strips, make great Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, some pot roast, whatever you want. Riverbend Ranch is in, let's see, I think it's in Idaho Falls, Idaho is the headquarters, but their cattle stretch over Wyoming, Montana, and the guy who owns Riverbend Ranch, and it's a real guy, built a $160 million processing plant on his property because he didn't want to truck his cattle to market. Now, this has been like a 40-year affinity that he has had to breed the best cattle possible. And he goes to auctions and they have these cattle genetically analyzed. And so you're buying, this is high end. I didn't know this about the meat industry. When you're buying a bull, you are buying the genetics of the bull as it will, of course, father, a herd of Black Angus beef. And they can predict the marbling on the beef from the genetics of the bull and the genetics of the mom. This guy says he's actually paid more for a female than he has paid for a bull. But what does all this mean to you? What it means to you is you start with the genetics that will portend the best quality steaks. But then, after the cattle are born, they are allowed to graze on ranch land. They're not put in pens. And you see these pens with veal calves. Just horrendous treatment. These cattle are raised the way cattle used to be raised. They wander a ranch and they eat grass. They're grass-fed. If they ever get sick, they're separated from the herd. They never get a hormone shot. They never get an antibiotic shot. So it's the best beef you can get. That's why every cut that you order from Riverbend Ranch is USDA Choice and Prime. USDA Choice and Prime. The top two layers of USDA beef grade via Riverbend Ranch. So you should check it out. They'll tell the story better than I can. You can watch all kinds of videos. You can see the cuts. And by the way, I know you want to know what it costs. It costs less than Omaha Steaks, Moink, Good Ranchers. And here's the difference. Those organizations do not control their beef from beginning to end like Riverbend Ranch. Those organizations buy their beef from ranchers, probably good, but no hormones, no antibiotics, they can't make you that guarantee. Only Riverbend Ranch can make you that guarantee. So if eating clean, eating healthy, and paying less matters to you, riverbendranchsteaks.com is the way to go. Check it out, riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. Awesome steak. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. I've turned a lot of folks onto this. A lot of guys love it. You love grilling. Put all that effort into grilling on your Traeger or on your smoker or, however you do it. You're only going to come out with a product as good at the end as the steak you start with. And I can tell you, Riverbend Ranch Steak. And I'm not a steak guy. I don't like chewy meat. But Riverbend Ranch Steaks are not chewy because the marbling is fantastic. All right. It was a decent weekend. We're supposed to get rain again this week, but you might be able to sneak in some yard work. Oh, wait, you can't, because your elbow, your back, your knee is killing you, and you wish you could get rid of that pain. Well, you can. Take advantage of a free consultation from my friends at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. What does that mean? It means that they are there to help your body do what your body was designed to do by God. Your body's amazing. It will heal itself. I used to have a big, huge scar on my head from my brain surgery. It healed on its own. I didn't put anything on it. It healed on its own. So your body can do that with what? Healing agents in your body. Platelets. QC Kinetics extracts the platelets, helps them combine with other platelets in your body when they re-inject them, so you get more platelets in the affected area, and guess what? You feel better. The arthritis goes away, the pain goes away. Wherever your pain is, take advantage of the free consultation at QC Kinetics by calling them and setting up your appointment. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That is, got a pencil ready? 380-208-4544. The funeral will be held today for the corrections officer who was tragically shot and killed in an accident about a week ago. Rodney Osborne's funeral service will be held at Cornerstone Nazarene Church today in Wheelersburg, which is in Scioto County. We still don't have a lot of details on how this happened, but a super tragedy. This guy was like Officer of the Year. He was not killed instantly. He was taken from where the accident happened. He was shot in a training exercise in the chest. 13-year veteran of the Ohio Department of Corrections. There will be a lot of tributes to him today, and just a super, super, super sad story. We appreciate his service to his community and to the state of Ohio, working for the Ohio Department of Corrections. This is a really weird story. Now, it didn't just happen like overnight or over the weekend, but it's now coming to light out of rural Clark County, South Charleston. A lot of you know the area. And what appears to be a scam perpetrated on two people, including an 81-year-old Clark County resident who is now charged with murder. His name is William Brock. And he is charged with the murder of a 61-year-old Uber driver by the name of Lolitha Hall. Now, as I understand it, she is from Columbus. But how this all unfolded, Mr. Brock received a phone call from a scammer. And the scammer was, I assume, trying to get money out of Mr. Brock, and told him, again, an 81-year-old guy gets a phone call, that one of his relatives has been imprisoned, and that there were threats made, and that money was demanded. So he's told somebody's going to come and get the money from him. And then Lolitha Hall, 61-year-old woman, shows up driving for Uber. She got a call from either the same scammer or an accomplice of the scammer saying, hey, there's a package at this address, which, is Mr. Brock's address, and she's supposed to go and pick up the package. So she goes to pick up the package. Now, what do you think Mr. Brock thinks? He thinks she's in on the scam, right? So he pulls a gun on her, and he demands to know the identity of the people who sent her. And she has no idea what's going on here because she's just following the directions that came down on the app to go get the package. There's chilling still photos from her dash cam of Mr. Brock holding a gun on her, and She tries to get away. She's like, I'm not in on this. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I didn't make a phone call about one of your relatives being incarcerated. So she tries to get into her car and leave, and he shoots her. She fights back, injures him. He shoots her twice more. And she's taken to the hospital, and she dies. So he is charged with murder. Now, look, I know only very small details on this, but this seems to me to be a colossal overcharge. In light of the fact that we have now had and are in the process of continuing to possibly have an array of instances in our area, Central Ohio area, of teachers and coaches sexually violating young women and getting off with their crimes virtually scot-free. This 81-year-old guy who's clearly terrified, he's got guy calling him, somebody's, in your family's incarcerated, I'm demanding money, woman shows up, he has, like, I wouldn't even put this together, like, I'm being scammed, you're being scammed, okay, let's sort this out. Like, he wants to know, we don't have any idea who the person was that the scammer said was incarcerated. What if it's somebody super close to him and he's desperate, he wants to find out, where's my relative, you're here to extort money from me, like. On the other hand, we have teachers and coaches who groom and target young women when they're like 12, 13 years old. I told you the story last week. The Southwestern City Schools teacher had sex with a girl from the time she was like 13 years old up through high school, multiple times a week. He gets 6 years. 6! Like, how's this guy not put away for life? Here we go again. Upper Arlington football coach. Former Upper Arlington football coach. His name is Joel Cutler. He's been sentenced to 3 months in jail and 5 years probation for sexually abusing a former student. Now, I will say, this took a long time for the student to come forward. I can only imagine the trauma that she experienced. And the judge in the case is a guy that I've met. When you say you know somebody, it's like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen this guy in 20 years. But the judge is a retired judge from Franklin County who was loaned out to Madison County because the Madison County judge in Common Pleas Court recused himself from the case. The judge who took the case is Dan Hogan. Now, if I told you who Dan Hogan's wife is, you'd definitely recognize the name. But this is such a weird case. Like, the crimes happened between 2000 and 2003 while the woman was a young teenager. Prosecutors asked the judge to dismiss rape charges. Why? Why? Why are you dismissing this? Oh, and Dan Hogan, the judge, says, oh, I got all these letters telling me what a great guy this guy is. Well, I'm sure he is a great guy to some people. Not to this woman. Not to this girl when she was violated. They also delayed the start of Mr. Cutler's minimal jail sentence so he can keep his job. He's sorry you raped a girl in 2000. We're not even going to charge you with that. And we're going to make you go to jail for just a short period of time, but we're going to do it on your schedule so you don't lose your job. When are we going to start protecting our kids? When? I got another story here out of Gallia County. Coach and his wife in on having kids over to their house, locking them in, sex parties. Like, when are we going to start protecting our kids? We've got the situation at Worthington Christian, former coach. Has he been extradited back here yet? When are we going to start protecting our kids?
With SRN News, Amrit Thomason. The first ever criminal trial of a former U.S. president, that of former President Trump, is getting underway today in Manhattan with jury selection. Before entering the courtroom this morning, Mr. Trump told reporters there is no case. He calls it an outrage and political persecution by those who want him stuck in the courtroom instead of being on the campaign trail. Israel's war cabinet is considering a response to Iran's missile and drone attack over the weekend. And most of the hundreds of drones and missiles were shot down by Israel and international.
This is crazy to me that we let these guys get away with this kind of crap with these students. Like the story, this story out of UA is horrific. Like, what? It happened 20 years ago, so it's not a serious thing? No, it's a very serious thing. Like, as a father of 3 girls, I can't imagine how traumatized these families are. You know, here's the thing. You raise a daughter, you want a daughter to have a certain view of marriage, how men should treat a young woman, treat them with respect, to understand that no means no, and all these kinds of things. And when these predators in schools, or it could be, I mean, that's the place where adult men interact most often with young women. I'm not trying to just bang on schools, because if it happened anywhere, it's reprehensible. But this is a complete and total violation of trust. A complete and total violation of trust. And it's blatantly illegal and perverted. And you don't know what kind of situation these girls come from. Maybe they don't have a dad at home. Maybe they're vulnerable. These predators identify them and groom them and take advantage of them in the worst way possible, warping their view of sex, warping their view of marriage, warping their view of men. And we let them off with like 3 months in jail? Like, that's a disgrace. That is a disgrace. Where's the left on this crap? Where's the war on women people on this crap? No, but we'll let a kid cut their body parts off and undergo like surgeries that totally change their just. This is vile and evil stuff, and just drives me crazy that we just kind of wink at it and go, "Oh, boys will be boys. Oh, she probably was asking for it." Nonsense, utter nonsense. So let me prep a little bit for this next segment, and we'll be right back with you.
Because truth is not a left-wing value, and the left lies as easy as you breathe. You need the clarity and wisdom of Dennis Prager every weekday afternoon from 1 to 3 on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Being healthy is important. I found that out in September when I had a seizure, and boy, it put me on a 5-month medical leave. But fortunately, even before that time, we were already PatriotSwitch.com consumers, members of a shopping club that sends directly to our house. Just saw the shipment went out today of personal care items that we were already buying at Walmart, not Target, because we stopped shopping there a long time ago. Family Dollar, places like that. You think, window cleaner's window cleaner. Deodorant's deodorant. Nope, not really. Look at the ingredients. Are you positive what they are? What about what you wash your clothes in? We have one of our daughters who had skin issues. We went the dermatology route, and they did their best. We switched laundry detergents to plant-based through PatriotSwitch.com/Bruce. And look at that. The issues went away. If you want to be healthy, then you have to put healthy products in and on your body. That's what PatriotSwitch.com/Bruce does for you. Leave your information at PatriotSwitch.com/Bruce. I'll reach out, send you a video, tell you all about it. Maybe we can get you signed up too, doing good things for the environment and good things for your family. PatriotSwitch.com/Bruce. So the Iranian attack on Israel over the weekend was vile, reprehensible, and escalatory. And Joe Biden says it was a big mistake. Wow. Wow. Master of the understatement, Joe Biden. A big mistake. A big mistake is when you like forget a lunch date or something. Like when you launch 300 plus attack drones and missiles into a country and aim them at civilian areas. Where are the Palestinian people? Oh, they care so much about the refugees in Gaza, where Hamas is putting those refugees at risk because Hamas, like the rats that they are, use the civilians as human shields. Don't hear anything from Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar or Jamal Bowman or any other nut jobs in Congress who are pro-Palestinian about how awful it was that Iran launched those missiles into civilian areas in Israel. Well, they didn't hit their target, Bruce. So see, that's a win for Israel. Well, yeah, it's a win for Israel, but it doesn't mean that you should just do nothing in response, because guess what? If you do nothing in response, you think Iran's going to say, well, we tried. Too bad. We failed. We look bad. Egg on our face. Better not try again. We might look worse. No, they'll try more the next time with bigger and better weapons or refuse to be deterred. And this is what Joe Biden wants, because Joe Biden really wants to be president again. Now, I don't blame him for wanting to be president again. It's a great gig. Get ice cream all the time. You don't ever have to come out and answer any questions. You never hold a press conference. I understand why he wants to be president. I understand why his dopey wife, who's so vapid that she has to be referred to as doctor when she can't write a prescription. I understand why they want to be president, but I also understand that at some point in time, your sense of honor and integrity and character has to matter more than your lust for power. And safety in the Middle East and the safety of American troops have to matter more than you and your second term. And if you, by doing the right thing, which is backing Israel to the hilt in this war that Hamas started, costs you your second term, well, then at least you'd have the peace of mind of knowing you did the right thing. That's not in Joe Biden's character, because Joe Biden cares only about Joe Biden. And this irrational support for Iran predates Joe Biden. Let's go all the way back to Jeremiah Wright's church in Chicago when Barack Obama was coming up as a community organizer. And he listened to Jeremiah Wright every weekend denigrate Jewish people and elevate the Louis Farrakhan view of the world. Are we surprised then that when Obama came into the White House, Obama couldn't wait to send pallets of cash to Iran, thus funding the world's #1 financier of terrorism throughout the world? And throughout his 2 terms as vice president, Joe Biden being exposed to that, and since he has no charisma, no insight, he had to borrow every single person of influence in his administration from Obama's administration. And so you have fools like Jake Sullivan and Tony Blinken and Susan Rice and others who did nothing but screw up foreign policy for 8 years under Obama, also now screwing it up even more and having no clue what's going on under Joe Biden. Remember Jake Sullivan's famous words on October the 1st, before Hamas went across the border, violated a ceasefire, invaded a sovereign country, Israel. We get really upset, don't we? Oh, those Russians. We got to fund Ukraine. If we don't fund Ukraine, that is morally reprehensible, because Russia went across a sovereign border and invaded Ukraine. We got to fund Ukraine. But Hamas, a terrorist organization, which has not done one thing for the people of Gaza in the 20 years they've been in power, steal every bit of aid to Gaza and use it to build tunnels and rockets, which it has tried to eradicate the Jews from the planet with, all that weaponry. We don't see Hamas the same way we see Russia. Right? Oh, Hamas crossed the Russia crossed the border? Yes. Into a sovereign country? Yes. Hamas crossed the border into a sovereign country? Yes. Are we boo-hooing our eyes out in Congress over the Russian citizens who were killed by Ukrainian drones that are wiping out bridges and stuff to keep the Russian army under control? Did I miss that? Did I miss the crocodile tears from the squad about innocent Russian civilians killed? No. You know why? Because Russia's the aggressor. Okay, I can live with that. Casualties in war, collateral damage, I get it. Why doesn't that apply to Hamas? Oh, Gazan citizens. And by the way, remember who we're taking our cue from? How many Gazan citizens, how many refugees have been killed? Oh, gee, I think, we could probably trust the numbers here from the Gazan Health Ministry telling us how many civilians have been killed. I'm sure they wouldn't position the numbers anyway to make Israel look like a bad guy. Why would they do that? I mean, they just went across the border on October 7th and murdered innocent women and children, put them in ovens, raped them repeatedly, took them hostage. Now they don't have any hostages left to trade. That's why they're not doing a ceasefire, which, by the way, they broke a ceasefire when they went in on October 7th. All this is insane, how we look, how Biden looks, and how Sullivan and Blinken and Rice and all the other people in power in the Biden administration, and no, I didn't mention Kamala Harris because she has no power. She's an ornament, okay? She's an ornament in that administration. She's not making a single decision, thank goodness, but she will if America's stupid enough to re-elect Joe Biden, because eventually he will leave the White House in a box and she will be in control. What a lovely day that'll be. But here's Jake Sullivan. This is how much he has his finger on the pulse of everything. This is Jake Sullivan on October the 1st, a week before Hamas crossed the border and precipitated actions that have killed 2,000 Israelis. Come again? Yeah, well, it didn't stay that way, did it, Jake? And now that it hasn't stayed that way, you just cannot back Israel, which the United States has always said it would do, because, boy, the people in Dearborn aren't going to like that. It might cost us Michigan, and if it costs us Michigan, that'll collapse the blue wall, and if it collapses the blue wall, we won't win the presidency again. That is what this entire sordid response is about. Israel's mood has not wavered. Here's a gentleman by the name of Aria Lightstone. He's a former senior advisor to the ambassador for Israel on what the mood in Israel is right now.
You should probably believe them. And the feeling in Israel today is nobody wants war, and nobody wants to see their husbands or wives or sons off in battle for an indeterminate amount of time. But nobody, and I'll be very clear about this, nobody in the country, not right, not left, not center, is interested in living with a terrorist regime on its border or a terrorist regime capable of reaching its border, which Iran has proven that it is.
100% right. Can you imagine if Mexico were not just killing thousands of Americans with fentanyl and serving as a revolving door for 10 million illegal aliens to come into our country and exacerbate crime in our major cities and steal jobs from actual real citizens, but was also lobbing rockets into the United States of America. And Israel called us on the phone and said, hey, you should really back off in how you're treating Mexico because it's not really too nice.
Afternoon, the high today 77, partly cloudy for tonight, low 49. Clouds with a couple of showers, thunderstorm late tomorrow, the high.
I really do not know how any sane person considers voting for this administration. Name me one thing they have not touched that has not turned to crap. Gas prices, the border, domestic energy production, well, I guess that's the same as gas prices. The world stage. I mean, I'm going to play a John Kirby cut for you coming back, where he talks about, with Bill Hemmer, how the world is better off now and more calm now with Joe Biden. It's just crazy. Just crazy. Here it is. I got it. Ready to go. Ready to roll.
Take advantage of Encore Energy's projects and a huge tax savings for this year. If you invest in oil and natural gas,
give me a second to prep, and we'll be right back.
Your investment in the first year. Goldman Sachs is projecting oil to go up to $100 a barrel, and natural gas is the fuel of the future and trading at record prices. Call 800-287-6691. Encore Energy is a major investor and experienced operator in its core area of operations. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691.
It has been confirmed. Those brave Americans who are trying to preserve free speech continue to be censored, shadow banned, or silenced. Wealth Protection Research is on a mission to share the liberating ideas of some of America's brightest and most free thinkers. People like Jim Rickards and Porter Stansberry, whose ideas are putting financial control back in the hands of everyday people, helping them protect their money against a government that seems intent on destroying it. Text TRUTH to 76626 to find out more. As this election moves forward, we just released a report that reveals our 3 favorite ideas for protecting and growing your wealth during the 2024 election. These ideas are especially critical if you have an IRA or 401k. Text TRUTH to 76626. Discover ideas that are so simple and actionable they might save your retirement. Text TRUTH to 76626 now for your free report. That's TRUTH to 76626. Standard text and data rates may apply.
We are the people that serve part-time in the Ohio Army National Guard. We are your neighbors, co-workers, and friends. We are your sons and daughters, your brothers and sisters. We are the people you see in your community every day. While we serve part-time, we're learning valuable life and job skills that we can use in our civilian careers. We get up to 100% of our tuition paid for at state colleges, so we can have an even better future. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state through every storm, every flood, every emergency that hits home here in Ohio. We are ready to respond and help our fellow Ohioans recover. We are every city, every small town, and every community. We are your Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with the Ohio Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Almost 6 million people in the U.S. are living with atrial fibrillation, or AFib, an irregular heartbeat that can put you at 5 times greater risk for a stroke, the 5th leading cause of death in the U.S. National Stroke Association and Mended Hearts have developed Beating Your Odds, an online game that makes it easy for you to learn about AFib. Earn virtual rewards as you play. Visit stroke.org/beatingyourodds to play today. Being informed saves lives.
Big $25 off sale going on at MyPillow.com. Check it out. Did you know you could get a MyPillow for $25? I didn't know that. Like, I paid 3 times that for my MyPillow. Not complaining, because I really like my MyPillow. It does a tremendous job. My neck doesn't hurt. I can swivel it from side to side. Used to wake up with neck pain, to the point where I even took 2 bath towels and taped them together like the old neck roll the linebackers used to wear. Didn't work. But once I got a MyPillow, and I got it because it said it could never lose its shape, well, then the problem went away. Now, sheets, towel sets, slides, slippers, sandals, bathrobes, mattress toppers. You can't get a mattress topper for $25, but you can get all kinds of other merchandise at MyPillow.com. They have so many products that emanated from the genius of the MyPillow itself. So check it out. Free shipping on orders of $75 or more. MyPillow.com. Great company. Check it out. Use my promo code Bruce to get the deepest discounts ever at MyPillow.com. Promo code Bruce. So Donald Trump in court in New York today. We'll have more on that in hour number 2. Jonathan Turley's view of that. And the star witness, Michael Cohen, a serial perjurer. That's a good look. That's a good look for Alvin Bragg. Chucky Schumer, Senate Majority Leader, tweeted over the weekend, big Twitter muscles on Chuck, that the U.S. needs to fully support Israel. He was greeted by a cacophony of Republican voices saying, "Great! How come you vetoed aid for Israel 4 times with every single Democrat voting against it?" So maybe they'll be able to bring that back to the Senate floor today and get Schumer to do something that he has been unwilling to do. Oh, he's done plenty for Israel, Bruce. He has called into question the propriety of Benjamin Netanyahu remaining Israel's leader at a time when Israel is under an existential threat from outside its borders. That's always a good look for one of your staunchest allies to question the person who's leading your country, not just leading your country at a time of opposition from within, but leading your country at a time where all the Israeli factions are united in one war cabinet behind Benjamin Netanyahu. So Chuck Schumer has done nothing but disgrace himself in this matter from the very beginning. And now he wants to arrive at the party super duper fashionably late after Iran lobs hundreds of missiles into Israel in an attempt to wipe out Israeli civilians. Oh, we're fully supporting of Israel. Yeah, sure you are. Here's administration bootlick John Kirby on Fox this morning with Bill Hemmer. Surprised Kirby would go on because he knows he's going to get much tougher questions than he'll get from Kristen Welker or George Stephanopoulos. But here's Hemmer's question and here's Kirby's ridiculous response. Oh, he does, huh? Let's do it. Oh, absolutely vital. Would it be intemperate for me to ask a simple question? And the simple question would be, Hemmer's question was pretty simple. Where? When Kirby said, "Oh yeah, I can make the argument our strength and our prestige is stronger throughout the world," and Hemmer goes, "Where?" And Kirby didn't answer it, of course, because he can't answer it because there is no answer. Here's my question. He said Biden understands American leadership on the world stage, and he cites as proof of that our pilots were in the air helping Israel fend off an attack from Iran. Just spitballing here. Wouldn't a better exercise of American leadership be to tell Iran ahead of time? Something more eloquent and with bigger teeth in it than don't. What do you say to Iran when they want to attack Israel, Mr. President? Don't. How about you say something like this? If Iran persists, not just in using proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis to attack Israel, if Iran directly attacks Israel in retaliation for the guy who planned the October 7th terrorist attacks being taken out by a precision Israeli strike on an Iranian embassy in Damascus, if Iran persists in that, we will bring your economy to zero by Monday morning. You will have no money to do anything. Zero economy, period. We will sink every Iranian warship. Every piece of your navy will be at the bottom of the Red Sea. Every single piece. You want to act like the 6th century barbarians you are? We will take you back to the 6th century economically. That is what we will do. Do you think they would have launched the drones? Maybe. Maybe they're stupid enough to do that. But that would be American leadership on the world stage. You know, that would be the kind of leadership that was exercised throughout the Trump regime. Because I know it gets tedious and tiresome to hear Donald Trump compare his 4 years in office to Joe Biden's 4 years in office. But he's not wrong when he says this. Now, they do have $221 billion. And where did they get that money? They got it from Joe Biden, just like they got it from Barack Obama, because the Obama-Biden Democrat squad progressive left position is Israel evil, Israel colonizers, Israel has no right to exist. Therefore, we will wink at those who want to eradicate Israel from the face of the earth, and we will do the very bare bones minimum that we can possibly do to ostensibly position ourselves as if we support Israel. When we really don't, and we really wouldn't cry a tear at all unless someone was looking and we had to shed a tear to make it look good. We wouldn't shed a tear at all if Israel lost, and we just wouldn't have to worry about protecting them anymore. Then we could just do business over there with Iran and beg for oil. Did I imagine the Abraham Accords under Donald Trump? Did I imagine 4 years of peace in the Middle East? They thought Trump was crazy, Bruce. You can't have a crazy leader. Oh, you can't? Did that have any utility for us? That we had a president who was unpredictable, who took out Soleimani, who did things that people thought, well, certainly he won't do that. Oh, won't he? Are you sure? Are you positive? You tell me. If Joe Biden tells Iran, don't, and Donald Trump tells Iran, don't, is the reaction from Iran the same? Call me crazy, but I don't think so. Okay? I just absolutely positively don't think so. And that's just yet another reason, as if I needed them, to explain why I will, though I have reservations about some of his peccadillos, will unquestionably vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. And as I've said before, I do not understand why idiots like Jim Garrity from the National Review, who are ostensibly conservative, cannot see that this is not a choice between perfect and imperfect. It is a choice between better and worse. And Trump is unquestionably better. Now, in hour number 2, we're going to tackle at the top of the hour something that may affect a lot of you as parents of current college students or prospective college students. There's a federal form you fill out, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, the FAFSA form, that typically you got to have filled out by the end of the calendar year if you want to get your kid any financial aid, see if you qualify for anything, for the following academic year at college. Well, that form was not ready December the 31st to be filled out, and it's still struggling to be filled out online. What's going on with that?
That a metal roof costs 2 or 3 times more than a shingle roof.
Okay,
It doesn't.
that'll do it for hour number 1 of the Bruce Hooley Show. If you want to watch hour number 2, flip over to the 989 The Answer Facebook page or the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page. Appreciate you guys watching. Pretty robust amount of people watching online. Appreciate that. And hope you guys have a great day. Dodge those raindrops. Stay out of the tornadoes. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Breaking news and weather across the country.